Come on. There we go. Hey, good evening,
Hey.
everybody. Dave Wilson, and it's Stephen Farrell, Northern Utah Jobs. Hey, we'll be right back because we're going to have a lot of great talks about staffing tonight, and it's going to be a great show. So here we go.
Boom.
See how fast that ends?
Woo! That was a great intro.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I love that stuff. And if it wasn't for that Fever app, I love it. $22, I think, for that one.
Nice. Well spent, Dave.
Isn't it? It's just a creative way to, and everything what I like about it, it's licensed. So the music, you don't have to worry about anything going wrong with that. And, so you work right.
I'm not making enough money, Dave. I got to make them myself.
Yeah, look, right? But you're doing good, man. You're doing good. Hey, how's everything going in the jobs in Utah, man?
Oh, man, it's busy. Just so busy. I really thought we would slow down around this time when you and I talked a month ago, but it has not slowed down. It's just getting busier and busier.
That's what I'm PA here, where, you're out in that Utah, whatever hell's out there. I don't know. But I'm in Pennsylvania. Hey, I wanted to start out tonight because I know, there's so many discussions. And I always like to bring up what happens during the week and the struggles. And I know there's a lot of other people out there that can relate, probably on the recruiter side as well as the client side. And the first thing I wanted to bring up was job boards. The cost effectiveness, and, everybody's used the Indeed, Career Builder, Zip. I had my frustration this week with it was I posted 2 jobs for software developer and an architect. I didn't get one all week. One.
Really?
One.
Do you know why?
I don't know. I've called Evan and I sent an email and she said it's posted. I said, yeah, but I put all the keywords that Vic had told me. I put everything in there.
Well, think about it. We are in the thick of it. This entire country, there's more jobs than there are job seekers. And I've searched my own jobs on Indeed, and a brand new job posting from like 2 days ago, and I'll find it on the 8th page. And it's just because there's so many companies posting jobs that it just gets buried with the hundreds and thousands that are out there.
Well, the only thing I could think of that happened with me is when I said IT, I told you for the video resumes, when I put it on LinkedIn, that first day we had over 10, 12 video screenings done.
And that was on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn, and it's still going. I'm having some issues. I have a help desk ticket in with something's going on with my video resume thing. But my point there is I said to myself, then, well, could it mean that IT people or senior people don't look on Career Builder? You know what I mean? You don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, well, Career Builder, I think you're onto something there.
I
think you're really onto something, Dave.
I'm over January 1st. It's done. I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do, Steve. I'm going to make a decision then. I've told everybody my vision was to be that 100% virtual, and I didn't want to use job boards because the cost, that Indeed, that pay by click, people don't realize that when they click on it, it costs.
Yeah. And it adds up fast too.
Especially for bigger companies for that, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars per month. And the return of investment, I was speaking to a person at Staffing Agency. They said $75 to $80 per posting for a warehouse was the return of investment ROI average.
Wow. Well, you look at your spend on the job boards, and you're going after quantity, not quality. You're you're going to get 100 different people to apply, but 2 maybe meant to apply.
Yeah. And that's what I wish they did, because I called, it's hard to call them all back, but I called a lot of them back. And they were saying, I didn't even apply for the job. What job was it? I said, yes, you did. You know, I was like, they didn't even remember what they applied for. So we got one question coming in. What are you saying, that people don't want to work, or there aren't enough specialized people to work there?
I think Dave, what Thurston's asking, when I mentioned that there's so many jobs out there and not enough job seekers, and that's just, I mean, there's a lot of underemployed people that are working right now that don't realize all the availability. And I know we're going to talk about that tonight, Dave, about just all of the negativity out there. You know, there's a lot of people are burned out, but who wants to make a switch in the middle of November and December, and they just don't realize the career opportunities that are out there, and even specialized fields. There's so many opportunities that people just don't realize
they don't
out there.
That's what I said. I hope that answers your question, Thurston. Please I know we've had you on the show here before. You've asked questions. Please throw some input in, and I'll put it up here. But yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I have another month. Evan emailed me. She said, well, we're just checking out. We know you said you were going to end it. I said, well, you got that right. So that frees up $800 a month for me as a single.
Hey, look, you just tell them to give it to you for free. And you'll consider it, right?
Yeah, right. I wanted to bring up something that I noticed that you did. And I remember you doing that great Showtime. Look behind you there, that countdown. Tell everybody what some of the companies, and I hope there's some out there that are listening to this, what's going on with you, that breaking news. Tell them about it, man.
All right. So Dave, this was a big deal. And this is not a national thing. This is very localized in my market. We've been working closely with my top clients that you know, really are struggling the most to find people. And I have to give the credit, Dave, to these plant managers, these HR managers, because they are refusing to shut down lines. They're refusing to do any sort of shutdown when they're shorthanded. There's no room for a line to be shut down. It's just unacceptable. Especially the products that they produce, that they save people's lives, and they will not accept it. Even though they're 200 to 400 people short, Dave, they won't do it. And so we've been working with them closely to, you know, first we increase wages, then we decrease the qualifications, and then we increase wages again. And it's still not enough. People are not coming to the jobs. And so we talked about, look, Dave, you've got to be flexible in this new economy. Like, I know lean manufacturing, there's a process and a time standard and a KPI to every single thing you do. Every time you move this item to here, it's timed. And so you cannot just, like retail. I come from a retail background. You can have people working all crazy hours and just ebb and flow, and you can just pick your own shift. But in manufacturing, the light industrial, can you really just come and go as you please? That doesn't work. But nothing's working after COVID-19. So we decided, let's be 100% flexible. 100%. You pick your shift, Dave. You tell us what hours you want to work. You tell us what days of the week. And these are plants that are running 24/7. So really, you can work any time that works best for you. And looks like Thurston's, my wife's been searching for a year. No one has jobs. We'll have to hit on that in a second. Yeah. But these two companies, and we have a few that are following suit, Dave. But we have two very large, some of the largest in northern Utah, that said, okay, we'll do it. Whatever you want to work, how frequently or not, come work for us. We'll pay you the high wages. And so you can now design your own job with these two companies.
See?
And we've opened up the floodgates. I mean, no one else is doing anything close to this. And I'm really excited to see what's going to come out of it.
And that's what I've said. You've heard me talk about it a lot, is when you need to do something, you can do it. You can do it just like that. It's whatever suits you at that time. Let's say it's an emergency, you make a decision. Yeah. Something really needs. And I know we're going to say, Thurston, please, if you want to have your wife reach out to myself, I can have her do a video resume. I'm offering that to you, Thurston. So please reach out to me on LinkedIn and I can set her up on that. I know he has one more thing here for you, Steve. I think to look, maybe the job sucks.
You know, it's not everybody's cut out to do fast food. Not everyone's cut out to be in light industrial. Not everybody's cut out to be retail. It's, you know, whatever's the best fit for you. So those that choose to be in manufacturing production, you know, these are actually fantastic positions, but why move from one job to the next? Like, why take the risk when in the middle of the holiday season and in this COVID pandemic, you don't know if that company is going to be open the next week. So a lot of people are hesitant in making those moves.
Yeah. I don't blame them, because a lot of them right now are just moving because right now, tomorrow they'll up it another $1 or $2. Right now, what? It's 11:22. You got about 10 to 15 more days, and that's it. You know, Thurston said, "Will do." Yeah, Thurston, have her reach out to me tomorrow on LinkedIn, and we'll set her up, and I'll help you out. But no, the reason I asked you about that is because when I played it twice, I'm like, because you did it so neat. You did it like breaking news, and I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, we could do any job. And I'm thinking, even here, there's always an excuse behind something. Yeah. Like, you have 500 people, we can't do it. Yeah, yes, you can. I think if you have a great management team, and you know, in the not only military, but all my positions, we always had meetings. You go in there, and years ago, you could be really open and honest. You could really just, oh, this ain't going to work. You know, now some people are, you know, used to put boxes out there with suggestions, and, you know, people don't want to, the employees don't want to say anything, but management has to figure out the way, because they're the leaders. That's what has to be done. Yeah. I'm sorry. If it's because of somebody says that an invoice, wrong, because the staffing company, MVP Staffing, I'm working with, invoice me every week.
Well, that's big. You know, you have people in the corporate office, like, versus boots on the ground, the plant manager, even the HR managers that are boots on the ground. They're looking at, I have 200 openings, Dave. And then because of COVID-19 and all the quarantines that you have to do, and family members of your employees, at any given time, you have another 200 to 400 people that are absent.
Yes.
So how do you run a plant of 2,000 people when you have 600 that are gone, that are out, whether it's 200 openings and 400 people that are out, you know, because of COVID? At what point do you decide, I'm going to throw this freaking playbook out, and I'll try anything to get people in here? And these two companies and a few that are getting close to making that decision they're making the right move, and they're the ones that are going to be able to still take care of their customers and get their product out.
Well, what I told you on job boards, remember, you know, you're only paying for one job, and you're posting, you have forklift drivers, all right? And then, you know, I have 5 of them allowed. So I called Career Builder, and I said, hey, am I allowed to post a job that I don't have? Like, I don't have jobs. I just want them to apply. She says, for what though? I said, I don't know. I just don't have jobs. I want a job though. I want to be able to find out. So they're like, yeah. So I had posted jobs for customer service because I wanted to skill market. Yeah. So all I was very honest in my job posting. You should have seen, I mean, I got 43 the first hour or two.
That's
I'm
awesome.
Like, listen, I was like, my name's Dave Wilson. Listen, I don't have the jobs right now, but I was just opening a company, and I need to have candidates so I can try to find you a job. You should have seen how many I got. And all I did it. So what I'm saying is, you can try different things, because I showed you this. Now, I have 8,000 applications since I've started with Career Builder. And what I did yesterday was I copied and pasted this with every single job I had. So think of it, not one job, 5. Yeah. So to me, it was illegal, because I'm just sending an email, copying and paste 25 at a time, dude.
Brilliant.
25 at a time. But hi, my name is Dave. I just filled in, make it personal. It's a menu. You'd be surprised how many people email me back. Because I'm saying, tell me if you have any of your family, friends looking for work. Boom.
Dave, I'm taking a page from your book, and I'm putting together the same email tonight. Right.
But make sure you put the money in red.
I like it.
Money in red.
Yeah.
Yep. You put the money in red, because red's the best color. So your eyes will go right to that. They'll look at everything. They'll go right there. Boom. Okay, I like that job. So, but brings us to the next one, and I wanted to talk about think I'm going to talk about this one first. The candidates, because it's not all the time it's the clients. It's not.
Yep.
And I ran into, you know, how you get a lot of people saying recruiters don't call you back or, you know, or anything.
I hear that all the time.
But there's times I'm the same way to where all of a sudden a week later, then I get a call and I'm like, I left you 2 messages. So if you're a job seeker, I wish they would haunt me more, because there's ones that I miss. There's ones and I got to go back. Yeah, I have to call, but I apologize, because if they say, hey, I called you, all right, I'm sorry. You know, I think it goes both ways. I don't know if you're running into that a lot with the candidates or.
Yeah, I don't know, Dave. I think part of that's how competitive it is out there. Just, you try to reach out to a candidate and maybe they meant to call you back, but as they're dialing your number, they're getting a call from another recruiter, another company, and they're getting a job offer over the phone, and then they don't call you back, right?
And I had that with a person. I feel bad because I did my last video and I was like, as we were sitting here, Maria, we were looking and I was talking to the guy. I said, yeah, I said, you can interview tomorrow. But he says, well, I'm working. I said, well, do you want to give notice? He goes, no, I'll just go. I'm like, I felt bad at first because I'm like, wow. But then I'm like, I said it right in there. And I like saying it because I like to win. And that is the way. There's no other way around it, because it's a circle. He's going to go there. He got interviewed and got the job. That person, there's another job opening. You know yourself, it's just to complete. So if they were mad, a lot of it was this week was they had this is what it was. 2 20-minute breaks for a 12-hour shift and a lunch. They felt they wanted, a lot of them were tired and burned out. We're going to get to that. But 20-minute breaks, they said, because by the time they walked to the cafeteria, because they had to punch out and the line was long. You know, and I get that.
You take 5 minutes, with all the COVID restrictions, it's going to take you another extra 5 minutes to get to the break room. Yeah.
And they said they were very strict about it. So I was like, wow. I said, I get that part. And a lot of them just said they were treated like a number. That's always a thing. Everybody says, well, I'm treated like a number. Listen, when there are big companies, I know, like you would say, I don't know how you're not, in a way, because there's so many people,
I think the responsibility goes back to the line lead who has 5 to 10 people. They've got to own that team and be a leader and know their team in and out, and that's how you remove that stigma of I'm just a number.
We did that in the chain of command, and I always point to my military. But if you needed to go to your team, your team lead, basically, and you had to work your way up to the ranks, because if you skipped it, you were in trouble. Like you said, did you tell your team lead? Maybe if he didn't do something about it, then it's okay to go to the supervisor.
Right. Yeah.
Because first thing I would say is, did you talk to your lead? But I don't know I don't know the answer to that. So some of the questions, I'm like, listen, man, I'm sorry. I can't help you there, because they treat you like a number, or, and the other one was, a lot of the times they were just getting ready to leave and they were stuck for overtime. They don't it's till the job is finished.
Well, that's the thing. Your companies, man, they are, what do you do when you're 200 people short? Like, guys, I'm sorry. We gotta stay. We gotta get the job done. And everyone has a life. Everybody has families. Everyone has obligations. And so, a lot of people go, you know what, this sucks, but I'm gonna stay because I get it. I get what happens if we don't stay. But then other people, Dave, there's no commitment. It's just like, you know what, see ya. I'm not staying. When
I worked for Home Depot, we did this. Yeah, you had to get done. I didn't want to do it. I'd call my wife. I'd be like, oh my God, my stomach. I know what it would felt like being as a manager. It was the same thing. You're no different. You had dinner plans. You had this, and you knew it.
Dave, when I was a retail manager, brand new, I went into this real high volume store, and the shrink was out of control, and corporate comes in because of the shrink, and they drug test my entire team. My first week on the spot, I went from almost 60 people on my team, Dave, down to 15.
Oh my God.
I lost all of my managers, and I'm sitting here going, what do I do? And I went from having a normal 45 to 50 hour work week to I worked 80 to 120 hours a week. And the only way I survived is I said, okay, I'm going to take the first 8 hours of my day taking care of the store, the customers, the product. And I'm going to spend the second 8 hours of the day hiring, recruiting, and training. And I did that for 60 days straight. And I got out of this mess, but I had to work 100 hours a week to do that and almost killed myself. And that level of commitment, you're not going to get out of any normal employee. Like it's a small percent of your team, 10 to 20% that will give you that level of commitment. The rest will not. And it's not their fault. I never blame people for that. My managers ask me all the time, like, why can't my team be as committed as myself? And I'm like, because they don't have your title or your pay.
Yeah.
You just can't expect it. You can ask it and some will step up, but most will not. And you shouldn't punish them for it either, because they don't have your title. They don't have your pay. They don't have the same level of commitment.
Right.
And so it's just interesting how shocked most people are when they lose, team members left and right when things get tough and they're asking more of them. But I'm sorry, you can't. You can ask and some will step up, but most will not. And you either accept it or you don't. I tend to take the easier route and accept it and go, you know what? That's, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's all you can really do. Oh, look who's here. Look at the man.
Hey.
There's the man. We got to bring him on. We got to sign him in soon here. Two of you, you're going to do a show this week with us. We'll get him back in here to talk about his ways. Which brings me to the point, like today I was at Target. Whew. Wow, I felt sorry for those girls on those checkout lines. They were so long, and
were they?
I was patient. I looked at her. I said, "Wow." I said, "You do a great job. I don't know how you keep up." And she goes, "She didn't vent. You could tell she's like, oh, we expect this. It's like this all the time." And anybody that knows peak season, I know. In my calendar, in my head, I know in November, baby, it starts.
Dave. Did you just hear what you said? You said with the cashier she said, we just expect this.
Yeah, that's what she said.
How often do we fail to set realistic expectations with our team? Like, hey, we're going to hit peak season. All of you are going to be working overtime. That's part of the job. Just expect to work every weekend for 4 weeks straight, have a weekend off, work another 4 weeks. Like, just expect it up front. If you set those expectations, then it's because people can plan around expectations. They can plan their life around it. But for some reason, we can't figure that out as management, Dave, how to set expectations for the worst case scenario to make that a normal expectation.
Well, I went on Amazon last year, I got to say prior year now for the holidays. I put a big whiteboard for a calendar. It was erasable. And we went ahead and we put X's. X's all the way. So every time anybody had vacation, but you X'd out peak season, forget it.
Blackout. Can't do that.
Oh, look at this. Here we go. We'd love to chat and help you and Steve. See?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Now you are coming on this week there. Communication. He's right. And that brings us out to, I know you wanted to talk about, and we got time here. It says,
we got plenty of time.
Burnout, negative, year. What are you hearing? And then we're going to talk about some new ideas on
Dave,
a little bit on bringing people.
Man, I don't know if you've sensed this. Just because I deal with thousands of people a day, and then I have my own team that I manage and lead and work with, and there's a lot of burnout going on right now, and it's because companies are so shorthanded that they just need more and more and more from their people. I ask more from my team every single day than I did the day before. And I know I'm stretching their limits. I kind of think of it like, wish I had it like a rubber band. Okay. Rubber band, you can stretch it out right here. Right.
Right.
But when you're done stretching it, it can come back to shape, and then you can stretch it out over here and it can come back to shape. And so every manager in every plant is stretching that rubber band, and they're going even further and further and further, and they're close to snapping that thing. Like once you stretch it too far, it's going to break.
That's a nice, good way to think of that.
Yeah. And so normally the rubber band can come back to shape, but if you stretch it too far out, it's going to snap, and people are snapping, Dave. They're losing it. because they're being stretched too thin, too far. And I want to address two things there. One is the managers themselves, and this I'm putting myself in this box, this category. We've got to do a better job of alleviating that pressure. We've got to bring the rubber band back to a level that is not too much tension. Let's see, Marissa, I believe that hiring before peak time is not in the times, just in time method, so employees are able to get to know their associates. Oh yeah, and their expectations.
She knows what she's talking about. Thank you. I know what she's saying. That is so true.
But yeah, Dave. So you've got to release the tension. You can't stretch it out too far. You're pushing your limits, and I do it. I'm guilty of it, and every day I try to bring it back. And I've had some rubber bands snap, and I'm not proud to say that.
Right.
So that's one piece of this negativity that's out there, and this burnout is managers, us. We're asking too much. We're demanding too much. But the second thing is associates that are on the receiving end. They have a life, right? They have things outside of work, and this year has been the toughest year that I've ever lived. It has been just incredibly difficult and challenging and stressful. And I think most people can say the same thing or relate to it. And so when you're stretching that rubber band out at work and home, it's just as bad. Like,
yeah, does the same.
People are going to get negative. And I'd say negativity is okay. And breathe that emotion through. But I'd say, I like to do meditation, like as I do it twice a day, in the morning and the evening. I try to release all that stress and that negativity and start fresh every day. And I think a lot of people out there, whatever that release is for you to get some of that stress out, like do that often, do it frequently, reward yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your health, because you're going to break if you don't. Yeah. And, the other part of that, Dave, is there's so much opportunity and good right now. So for the employees that feel like they're being stretched too thin and they're negative, they hate their job, they hate their boss, you should know that because of this market, because of this economy, there are so many opportunities out there that have never presented themselves to you. Yeah. If you were just to look for them, if you were to ask for them, you would be surprised how many doors are there that are open for you. So much positivity for your career right now. I don't care what level of your career you're at. If you're at entry level to mid-level to executive, there is so much opportunity. You don't have to look that far for it. And maybe it's your geographic region that might be depressed. Like there's depressed areas of this country that there are no jobs because there's no companies in your area. But if you look outside of that, it's a whole new world for you. It's a whole new life. And so I hope you can turn that negativity into something very positive that's career changing for you. You just got to look for it.
I'm going to tell everybody a secret here right now. Shh, look around. Steve is actually Superman. He's Clark Kent. So if everybody just looks at him, picture him taking his glasses off, see? I'm telling you, Clark Kent, but that's the secret. I want to go back to this thing right of what Marissa said, because I believe that hiring before peak time is not in a just in time, because the reason she's saying that is, if I'm right, and I disagreed with this, because when we planned out for peak, you start going crazy for 2-3 weeks prior trying to hire people.
Yeah. And
I'm like, why are you trying to hire people now? I would put a pull maybe like to get them, hey, if you're interested, but do you think that's what she means by that, right? Because you put too much in the beginning of it.
Well, I think a difference between hiring and paying somebody. Like no one's going to sit around for 3 weeks without a paycheck, right?
Right.
So whoever you bring on 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time for peak season, you got to put them to work. You got to pay them.
That's what I mean. Put them to work. We used to put them in like a different job. If we knew, we'd say to them, hey, listen, if you want to work here for 2 weeks, the job's not that great, but at least it'll hold you over to there. Two says, personally, my goal is not to have more customers. My goal is to be trusted in a way I can make a change I want to see. Maria, yep. She said yes. Thank you. I knew that, but I was just confused. At least we're on the same page there.
Well, we've got a company, Dave, that's moving into Utah. They need
Right.
180 people in the month of December, and they're a brand new company moving into Utah, and they need 180 people in December. And I just had to be frank with them, and they luckily they were open to this. I said I can't hire 180 people between now and the middle of December.
Yeah.
You're not going to have 180 people because everybody needs a paycheck from week to week. They're just not going to wait. And so whatever lines that are just being built, like, why don't we start people there and hire the 20 people for that line and build until the whole facility is up and going. And they're like, yeah, that actually works really well. And so now that 180 turned to just 30 people next week, and then 30 people the week after. And they're all going to have a paycheck. They're all going to get paid. They're all going to be working full-time schedules.
See, I said it the other week was, don't let your employees off for a day. If it's on a Friday, give them off on a Friday. That's fine. People love that. But when you bring in some temporary candidates and you say, well, we don't have work today in the middle of the week during peak for a day, say something was missing, I would sit there and wanted to tell them, give them a broom, pay them 4 hours, something. Because that's where I was successful. Because when I heard other companies were off for 2 days, I looked on social media, I'd be on there, hey, come on over to me. We got work for you.
Right.
I didn't care. Think about it.
People need money. Nobody wants to miss a day on their paycheck, let them two.
And then they expect, and it's on both ends, because if you're calling off or anything like that, but if it's for 1 day, I know the expense it would be to have somebody clean for 4 hours or something. But in turn of the next week, when you lose them all and you're in that position again, it's beat down. Like you said, that rubber band, I'm going to use that all now. You break that chain. You got to break that chain somehow.
Yeah,
and be different. And that's where it comes in. And we'll end up here. We'll wrap it up here shortly, is ideas of how to, you're even going to find right now. I'm burned out of saying the same thing now. It's all $15, $16, $18 an hour. I'm waiting for, all right, we got $25, $30 an hour. You know what I mean? Because you're beating that. And the candidates that are at PUA is coming up to the end of December. So now you're going to have everybody that's been on the PUA and professional services. You got another month. So if I was you've even said it. You need that 30 days. And right now with Christmas, right now is where you should start your seeking employment for even professional services, not just logistics, because you said it to me before that a lot of the companies are hiring. They're not advertising it.
Yeah, it's because it's funny, Dave. You mentioned looking for on the professional side. December, when I made a career change, December was always my month, November, December, where I did all of the, looking at companies, applying at jobs, interviewing, and then come February, I'm starting a brand new, career with a different company. The 2 or 3 times that I've done that in my career, I've always started it around this time. And it's because everyone else they're grinding, right? They don't have time to look for a career. And so the competition is really much smaller.
It is.
And it's just easier to get those key positions. And they're not being advertised right now because it's so busy. They're just thinking about, well, get the HR manager first thing in January on this, right? Let's just get through the rest of the year. And so it's a great time for people that are, especially in the professional arena,
and I told them
that next career move.
I've had a couple with the professional right now is I've given up on a couple of the direct hire positions. And the reason I do that is because I find the candidates, I've sent the candidates. I wouldn't send the candidates if I didn't feel they were qualified. I don't hear nothing back from the company. 2-3 weeks. I don't know. I keep spending time finding people. They email me back. Did they call you? No, they didn't. Then I just stopped. I was like, you know what? You must not want the business. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully, but like we've said it before, you gotta empathy. This year, you said, I'm going to say it all the time. I like that rubber band. It's going to be one of the most hardest because I find myself the same way.
Yeah.
How can I help somebody like Thurston say his wife hasn't worked? You feel for that. But what I also say is you got to do something different. somehow send your own emails to the company, reach out, because I don't know of any. I'm running out of ideas. Besides James Pendleton doing that, he rented a truck from a company and put his.
Oh man,
You see that? We had him on the show.
Tell everybody about that. Who people are not familiar with what this guy did.
So Marissa and Tuvia, if you're still on here, and Thurston. So he's from the UK, James Pendleton. I'm going to have him back. So I had him on Hire Me Friday twice. He had a hard time finding a job, and we kept saying, do something different. So he went out and he hired, made coffee cups. Hire me, right? Hire me, James. Then he gets on the show. He has T-shirts made up. Hire James, right? Then he took brownies and he made a successful recipe on why to hire him and took it to the companies in the UK.
Oh, man.
We had him back on the show and he still didn't. We were having fun. And then all of a sudden, he ended up getting on Fox News too over here. He was tired of it. And the trucks in the UK, and they did that, what do you call it? Not the rolling, where they roll it out.
Yeah.
Hire me with his resume and his picture. Hire James Pennington for marketing. Yeah, they took pictures of him, and he emailed me back or LinkedIn. He goes, Dave, look at this. We made it to your point of country there, and that's how he got a job.
It's incredible. That's thinking outside of the box. And we've heard stories like that over the years, right? People posting their resume on a billboard or on a bus. Yeah. But who in their right mind takes action on that and does it? Like, that's why it works, because 99% of us would never do that. We love hearing the stories, but we would never do that because we're, fear, I don't know, money, execution.
Well, he's going to come on with us because I'm trying to get him now. I keep saying to him, because you were on Fox News and what are you, a movie star now? And now I can't even get him on my own show. But you're going to love meeting him. He's just to think outside the box like that. Because I don't know what else sometimes to tell the candidates, because they'll tell me, listen, I get up in the morning, I go to Indeed, I go to job boards, I go to talent.com, I go to everything, ZipRecruiter, I apply everything I do, and then nothing.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything. And I don't think it can stop there. I tell everybody, listen, go on LinkedIn and put your resume, put that thing at work, put your resume. You should see how some people are putting on there and then put on there why you hire me, why you should hire me. Listen, I'd put a picture of I don't care if I lost this today. I'd be right on LinkedIn saying, hey, I'm available.
Yeah.
For professionals, if you're a professional, there's nothing wrong with being furloughed right now. There's people, I didn't realize, 10, 15, 20 years. What do you say? What do you say to somebody with 15 years, 20 years, I lost my job?
Well, here's the thing, Dave, is people remember negativity more than your positivity when it comes to job seekers. When I have a candidate in front of me that's just telling me how bad they've had it and how bad their exit was, and they're just pointing the finger at their employer. It's like, you remember that, and you don't come out of that conversation and go, oh, I want to hire Steve because he just hates his boss.
Right.
No, you hire someone that was just like, here's what I accomplished, here's what I learned from my failures, and and here's what I love about what you guys are doing. Like, when you bring the passion to the interview and not the negativity, you're going to get the job. But just talking about how much you hate your boss, the companies, like, that's not how you interview. It's just,
that's what I mean. And I try to tell them on the video resumes, and that'll be another show, but I try to just, you've had that much success, and I forget who was telling me, but it makes sense. If you, like, say an HR director has had 20 years and some of them have lost their jobs, let's just say, and now they're going back into it. The pay rate's different, the scales. I always tell people, think of it this way. That person, look what they did to get there.
Yeah.
They're going to go right into your company, and I think they're going to try to excel faster because they don't want to be, that lead that was a supervisor applying for a lead job. I wouldn't overlook that, because then he becomes a lead. He's going to want to come back to a supervisor.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. And I try to tell people, and that's the only thing that bothers me sometimes. I mean, there's some that I just try to help, and I don't know the answer. I don't know it.
Yeah.
I think it all works out at the end, but social media, you got to utilize that to its fullest extent.
Yeah, you do. That's where just some job seekers really win. Oh,
Oh,
my kids are jumping into the scene here. Hey, go upstairs. Go get dinner.
well, I forgot it's 2 hours behind there, but
Oh, you're good.
yeah, I think wow, 40 minutes. That was a good show.
We're having fun here.
Yeah, next week we'll bring up some new ideas. This week here, I just have a lot of video resumes to catch up on. We're gonna hit social media with some new educational stuff, not just jobs, but why you want to hire us. We want to try to find something besides being different. Like Taylor came up with, I love that we say is staffing done differently. That's our new motto. Staffing done differently. And
think about what that really means, Dave, because staffing is, I don't care what company you are, who you think you are and what you've accomplished. The models that have always just been the same. It was just about execution, who could execute it better and faster and have more resources. But it's done differently now. You have to do it differently. The old model does not work.
Do you think, I wanted to ask you in your opinion, I've asked this to a couple people, on normal peak season, it would have been over in 3 weeks. Come that week before, they would have slowed down.
Right now, Dave, I would be relaxing. I wouldn't be doing any like this same time last year. It was just like no stress. Just this is the time we catch up on paperwork and filing. Like it's not like that right now, Dave. It's just.
But do you foresee it? I foresee it still going over into January, and let me clarify that reason, because with logistics, I still feel a lot of this stuff is not made it here yet. A lot of the product is going to be coming. There's a lot of stuff on Amazon. I've looked at back order, not available to December 29th, or January, some of the stuff. So I'm just wondering if they're way behind. They still have orders. They have to make their products. Is it going to extend into January and then your peak will drop off? That's what I'm just wondering, because it doesn't seem no slowdown. Nothing.
Dave, I think the first part of that is because everyone is behind. It's just a ripple effect. So it just creates this, okay, I'm behind. I finally get caught up and I send my stuff out. And then this company's behind. They've cut staff. They don't have staff. Now they got the raw materials. Now they got to get caught up. They got to hire, and it just slows down. Everyone's just slowing down. And I don't know, Dave. I keep pushing the date back. Okay, we're going to be caught up in December. Okay, January. But I don't know. I think this is just going to continue through the same time next year. I think there's going to be a decline, maybe a dip in the middle of the year that would be comparable to a normal year. But I think this production levels that we're at, I think it's just going to keep going through the end of this year and through the next peak season of next year. I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
And I say it every day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope it does, because it's good for me. But like around me, Steve, there's 4 more warehouses just in Phillipsburg that are opening up, 1.2 million square footages. And I'm like, wow, how? I keep saying in my mind, they're building condos. But the people that are contacting me now, they don't want to work in logistics. And I'm like, wow. You got another,
Well, look at all these companies that have just popped up overnight that are servicing anything COVID related, making the tests. You're going to see these. I mean, you're going to see it in a few months probably, where you walk in, before you walk into the production facility, you take a COVID test that's instant, that gives you the results right there. That's like a daily thing you're going to do. And I mean, they're already doing it at the universities. They're just doing it weekly. And so all this new infrastructure around COVID-19 has created, billions of dollars in new business. And so, you see all this expansion out there and support of that expansion. And that's why I don't see a slowdown. It's just going to keep getting busier and busier.
I don't know what I'm going to do for anymore, but I'll tell you what, I appreciate. Wow, 45 minutes did pretty good.
Yeah.
That was when you can talk like this, because for those in staffing, and I'm going to end it for myself, I'm going to give my 30 seconds and you can give yours, is, if you're the clients out there, please, you should be having a meeting with your recruiters, your staffing companies weekly, 2 times a week. Every minute you get that you can speak and see their problems and fix our problems together, I think you're going to win. And it's not just the staffing company's problem. It's everybody's problem.
Yeah.
Because we can only provide the people. And if you don't keep them and they're just going to go in that circle, I call it that circle, So my take out of this whole thing is really empathy towards the candidates. Reach out, HR, walk around the floor, talk, don't just go out, talk to people. Managers, talk to people, say, hi, how are you doing? And that's what I would say. And then before you, I have one here. I agree with both of you. It would be extended. I'm just not sure how many people will last. Marissa, we have to have you on the show next week. Let's have her on the show. You're gonna come on next Sunday, Marissa.
Okay, that just gave me goosebumps.
I know.
Like, Dave, this year, so at the beginning of the year, I canceled my trip to Hawaii. All right.
Right.
A vacation I planned 2 years ahead of time. And then we rebooked a trip to Costa Rica.
Right.
For May. I canceled this one in February, end of February. We thought, okay, well, let's just rebook for Costa Rica in May. And then by the time May rolled around, Costa Rica was closed to the world.
It's the world.
And it's like, and I just, how do we last this extension? How am I ever going to get that vacation, Dave? Am I ever going to get to Costa Rica? We're not making any vacation plans right now because we just don't know. But Marissa, you're coming on the show next Sunday, so be prepared. But Steve, if you had to sum it up in 30 seconds to a minute, what would you say to employers and candidates out there? Flexibility is key, whether that's with empathy, like you mentioned, Dave, be flexible in your rigid management style, start to get to know people, have more empathy for, when you normally fired someone on the third attendance issue, wait till the 15th. Like, flexibility is key in everything that you do right now. And I know there's a financial burden attached to your flexibility, but how much opportunity cost are you losing from being rigid, sticking to the old model? You can bring the old model back next year when you get caught up, but for now, embrace the flexibility and get your product out and take care of your people, and you'll barely survive if you do that. But if you don't, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just it's a tough market right now, and you got to be flexible.
That's why I'm like counting the days. I'm like, but I agree with even yourself. That was a good point. I don't know when it's going to end, because that's what I mean. I told you, is when do you think we're going to be? Because I know like some companies don't even have products. That's why they're behind. So yeah. But hey, Steve Farrell from Northern Utah Jobs, and hey, everybody, this is actually Clark Kent. Superman in disguise. I'm telling you, I might be the man in black, but this guy, when he takes his glasses off, Marissa, you're talking Superman. I love it.
I won't do it on camera, Dave.
Yeah, right. All right. Thanks so much, Steve. And we'll be back next week. And have a good week, man.
Boom. Have a good one.
All right. Bye. All right. Let's